morning, readers. Welcome to another border crossing as we cross into fantasy realm and consider Bilbo Baggins' character and the world he finds himself in. Especially what I'm interested in for the reading for today is what is evil? If reading asks some of the big worldview questions. When we read a book, it asks the big worldview questions. Like, where are we? Who are we? What's wrong? What's the solution? We find ourselves in a very different world in Bilbo Baggins' country. In Middle Earth, what Tolkien will come to call Middle Earth. It's a very different world. So, what's wrong with this world? What's the nature of evil in this world? And we've seen a number of things already, and then hints at a kind of second class of things that are wrong. So what's wrong in the world, first of all, is dragons. Right? Dragons have driven the dwarves from their rightful home for the sake of greed. Right? A dragon sits on a hoard. A dragon has taken that wonderful wealth that was made the countryside flourish. Not just the king under the mountain where the dwarves were, but also the city of Dale and what's outside of it. So there's this rich culture. The dragon comes, ruins it, just sits on it for his own good. Okay, so dragon greed. Watch for that term. Dragons are evil. Also notice that the goblins are evil. They have similar traits to the dragon, though somewhat different. The only thing that they like to make are weapons of mass destruction. There's a very distinct passage that sounds like World War I. Right? If World War I is the defining event of Tolkien's youth, the kind of machines that destroy and break things, it's actually out of place. It's very modern language, actually, when Tolkien's talking about the goblins and the machines they make. They're not interested in anything that's beautiful. They're not interested in things that are beautiful and things that spur culture. They're just interested in things that destroy. So those are the two clear examples of evil. One of the criticisms of Tolkien's world is that it's so black and white. There's good and there's evil, and goblins and then later orcs are just corrupt, and so you can kill them. And that's, the argument is that's not realistic. It's always more nuanced than that. And maybe one of the reasons Christians defend the book so much is that they say, look, there's clear good and evil, and we like that. So it is a little bit dangerous, right, to say you can just label a group bad and therefore kill them or something. But, Tolkien is not expecting us to do that or to understand that in the real world, but still he's creating this clear sense of evil, and dragons and goblins clearly illustrate that. However, notice that the rest of the characters also have their own problems. Notice the tension between groups. Oh, by the way, the trolls are also baddies. They're not the goodies, but the baddies. And why is that? And some of their badness just comes from sort of ignorance. I mean, it's kind of a comic chapter, as it were. But they are corrupt elements of the earth itself, whose kind of badness is about ignorance, and not understanding the wider purpose of things, but just being there to kind of kill and destroy and eat. They're sort of pure appetites or something, which is the third group of bad characters. But notice that the regular characters have their own problems. When they are in Rivendell, when the dwarves and Gandalf and Bilbo are in Rivendell, Elrond doesn't have much time for dwarves. He doesn't, there's this old tension. He doesn't like the kind of passionate, the dwarves' love for treasure and earthly things. He doesn't think it's good. So there are tensions between groups that way. And watch that. Right? That's a second kind of level of evil, as it were, is distrust of other creatures. All of these different creatures have to get together, have to get along in this world. And notice that no one group can do this by themselves. It's Gandalf that comes into the map. It's Elrond that can interpret things that Gandalf can't even interpret. So as much